You've got more questions about homeschooling in high school, and today I've got more answers. Welcome back. I am Tricia. I'm a homeschooling mom with 3 kids, and we are finishing our year number 11. And this is a second part video of a Q&A that I offered up about homeschooling in high school. And before we jump into this, I have a planner, just simple middle school, high school planner that a one-page course overview planner. If you want that, I will have a link down below just to help you kind of sketch out and kind of get a big picture of what those years look like. Elisa asked, do you have any ideas for homeschooling or for high school world history? And I do. So my daughter did modern world history last year. So we just did 20th century. That's what the time period she really enjoys. And she'd gone through Story of the World twice. I felt like she had a good grasp of the history before that time. And I really just wanted to give her a world history course that she enjoyed. So we just did 20th century. And we used a combination of Khan Academy's world history, which was really good. Great courses, Crash Course, and then just various other videos I found, things from PBS. I really just kind of put it together and to make it just a fun year for her. But I didn't know about History Detective by Critical Thinking Company until this year. Well, I knew of it. I just hadn't looked at it. This one is U.S. history, which is what she's doing this year. We've absolutely loved it. And I have a video where I go into it more, so I will link that. But they have a world history version as well. Now, it would have changed for her, I don't necessarily think, because it goes from the beginning to modern. And she really just wanted to do modern. But I would definitely check out that. So that would be my first suggestion. Second one, I would check out Khan Academy. I don't think it is enough to be the entire class, but I think it's really good. It incorporates, there's videos, there's primary source reading, there's other types of reading, questions, comprehension type questions. So I think it's really good. I would be tempted for some kids to do like that, and then if I did like a combination of that and World History Detective, I think that would be really good, and then space it out with some historical fiction or some documentaries. I think that would be a great year of it. Crash course videos over on YouTube are also fantastic. I think they would make a great spine. There is also a world history curriculum free from Crash Course. I will link it down there because it's kind of hard to find. They put it up several years ago and then took it down because they were going to redesign it. But I haven't heard where they are in that process. So you have to just kind of find the old thing. And I did. So I will have it linked. If you want something textbooky, I don't have any suggestions because I kind of tend to avoid textbook type of stuff. As I mentioned in last week's video, the questions that you've given me have really inspired me to have some different video topics, and one of them is a video series just on different suggestions for high school curriculum. I did this last summer, but focused it on elementary and middle school stuff. I hope to have it out here later in May, maybe early June. I'm going to do one for high school. So I'll do a video about math, a video about history. I'll do several of them. I think I did 5 last year. So if you are looking for curriculum suggestions, I will give a more thorough and thoughtful response with more variety over in that video. Leslie asked about tips for dual enrollment. Well, our dual enrollment has kind of gone wacky. Here in North Carolina, you can do it as an 11th or 12th grader. There's some rules now that's changed about possible 9th and 10th grade, but I don't know what they are, so I'm not going to go into this. But for 11th and 12th grade, you can do it. And so I've got a few tips. Well, first of all, I should say, we went to our meeting and started the enrollment process right before we went into quarantine. So then things kind of got delayed, but we did get the application. She's submitted, she's gotten it. We've got her acceptance letter. We're just waiting to find out what their classes are going to look like, because they don't know if they're going to do just online or in person. So in short, that's our dual enrollment story. But I have a few tips. One of them is to kind of keep looking ahead. So in January and February, we have 3 community colleges in our area that do dual enrollment. 2 of them had parent meetings in February. I emailed the 3rd one about that same time, and they said their meeting had happened in December. So if you are looking ahead towards it, I would, by December, probably more like November, I would email whoever is in charge of the dual enrollment for your community college and find out when they're going to have parent meetings. And if they don't know yet, I would ask to be put on the list, email list, for when they do announce it. Because we really want to consider that, anyway, as it turns out, we went with a different one anyway. But that one had been my first choice for location. And so I was disappointed by that. We still could have enrolled. But anyway, all of that to say, make sure you look ahead and contact early about when they're going to have a parent meeting. My next biggest tip is to make sure you keep up on your transcripts. For her, I had to send in her 9th grade grades, and then for 10th grade, I had to put her courses in there and then mark which ones were in progress. So make sure that you stay up on it. After 9th grade, finish those. And then in 10th grade, I would go ahead and get them written down, mark that they are that they're in progress. That way, whenever you do have to submit for it, you already have that information, and you don't have to do a mad scramble to get it all finished. Not naming names. So that would be my big tip for dual enrollment: is 1, to make sure you're staying up on these things, and number 2, contact early about when they're going to have parent meetings or informational meetings about it. Now, to go along with that, Leslie also asked, can you share what you keep for documentation, course descriptions, transcripts, etc.? So if you go and Google just high school homeschool transcripts, you're going to find all kinds of them. The one that I chose is broken down by course rather than by year. And I did this for a couple reasons. One, she has a couple courses from 8th grade that will count. And so I wanted them to be on there, but not look. I liked the way that is. And I also liked that I could, I don't know. I just felt like it made more sense to me. Lee-Benz has several transcripts. I'm not sure how many of them, I'm not sure which ones are free and which ones are part of her membership. I don't remember, but I think she has a few. If you Google, you can find them. So obviously transcripts I keep, and then course descriptions. What I learned about course descriptions is that if you just Google for Algebra 2 course description, you'll probably find something, or you should find something. You can also go to your state's Department of Education. They will often have those course descriptions on there. So that might be easier because it will look more similar to what your fellow high schoolers have, or in your state. So if you have a student applying to a state school, to your state's colleges what you have to say will be familiar to them. Obviously, you might need to adapt it a little bit depending on what exactly you covered, but that's a good starting point. If you do one through an online class, they should have a description for you. Some people also suggest keeping a reading list. I don't know how important this is. I don't know if colleges really want it, but I figure it's better to have it than not. And I just go through her list of literature and copy down it all. She's not much of a reader, so we don't do much outside of it, but she's also read some like through history for historical fiction, that kind of thing, and I just keep them all on there. I don't know that if it's necessary. I don't know. I haven't gone through the college process yet. I've also been told that some colleges want to have a letter that kind of explains your philosophy of homeschooling and how you kind of ran your homeschool. I have not done this yet, and I don't know. I will try to find a couple samples and link them. I figure that if that's something that a college needs, then I'll do it. Otherwise, it feels like something that I don't need to do. We'll wait and see if it's something they request. So that's kind of all I keep for documentation. And then I will keep sample pieces of her work. Like for U.S. History Detective, I grade each lesson, and so I just have a list on the computer that I record each one. Same with like for biology. I keep those. I just do it in a Google Docs, Google Sheets page. And then I just keep, the lesson number and then the grade. And so then it's quick to find the grade at the end of the year. But those, I don't expect to need any of those, but I will save them because it's easy in case I do need them. And then our family videos also asked about, do I front load 9th and 10th grade and then make 11th and 12th grade a little lighter? And I haven't purposefully done that. Her junior year next year will be a little heavier, partly because she's going to tackle pre-calculus and physics next year. But I do want to make sure that her senior year is a little more fun of a year, so we're going to try and fill in next year with anything else that courses she might be dreading a little bit. I think, here's what I would say. 9th grade, plan that 9th grade is going to be a rough transition. I expected it to be rough for her, and it was rougher than what I expected. She didn't believe me that it was going to be hard. She thought it'd just be a couple weeks and then she would, it'd be easy. We struggled a lot with just being more independent, taking on more responsibility for what needs done each day, for planning out her weeks, along with a higher level of workload and quality, the expectations. So your first semester of 9th grade, I would absolutely plan to be a little bit of a lighter year. I know that now, and so when my middle son, moves into it, we will have an easier year. So I would not. 10th and 11th grade, I think, is a great time to make it a little bit heavier, but just make sure that you're not loading up so much that everybody's miserable. Because it is a lot, and you just don't want to spend your days fighting and being miserable with each other. So just be careful about that. I understand the idea, but finishing up now our second year, I think it would not be the best of ideas for 9th grade. But 10th and 11th, I think that's a great time. They've got some experience from high school under their belt. I can move at a little easier pace, quicker pace. They're ready to tackle harder work. I think that's a great idea. And then senior year, you can fill it in with a little more fun stuff. I really wish that I could sit down and have a conversation with each of you about these questions and have a more interactive format. But since I can't, if you have more questions about things I mentioned, leave them down below. If you haven't watched part 1, go do that now. And I will see you over in the next video.